The strange gift. The room was cold. The walls were metal, gray and lifeless. A single human sat inside, his back against the corner, eyes half closed. His name was Ray. Once a soldier, now just a prisoner. He didn't know how many days had passed. Maybe months. Maybe years. Time felt broken here. Then one day the door opened. Bright blue light spilled into the cell. 3 alien guards walked in laughing. They were tall, with smooth green skin and glowing yellow eyes. They dragged something behind them. "Look what we brought you," one of them said with a cruel smile. "A gift." They threw her on the floor. It was a girl, small, weak, and shaking. Her skin was pale violet, her hair silver and dirty. Her eyes were open but empty. She didn't speak. She didn't move. "She's broken," one guard said, spitting on the ground. "No use to us anymore. Maybe she'll be fun for you." They laughed and walked out, slamming the door behind them. Ray didn't move at first. He looked at the girl. Her arms were thin. There were bruises on her neck. Her clothes were torn. She looked no older than 20. She was alien, yes, but also human in some way. Not in body, but in pain. He slowly got up and walked over. "You all right?" he asked softly. No answer. He sat beside her, keeping some distance. From his small corner, he pulled out a piece of bread. It was dry and old, but better than nothing. He offered it to her. She didn't take it. "I won't hurt you," he said. "My name is Ray." Still, she said nothing. But her eyes moved. They looked at the bread, then at him. Her hands trembled. Finally, slowly, she reached out and took the food. She ate in silence. That night, Ray gave her the corner with the blanket. He sat by the door, cold but alert. She didn't sleep at first. She kept staring at the walls like waiting for someone to return. Her eyes were filled with fear. Then as the room grew darker, she whispered something. "Sarah?" Ray turned. "Your name?" She nodded. He didn't ask more. Not yet. She looked like she had been through hell. The next day she was still quiet, but she didn't flinch when he offered her water. She drank slowly, her hands shaking less now. Ray tried to smile. "We're not friends yet," he said. "But you're not alone." A small sound escaped her lips. It might have been a laugh, or a sob. He wasn't sure. Days passed. She started to speak in short words. Sometimes in his language, sometimes in hers. She pointed to things. Asked questions. Who was he? Why was he here? What was Earth? What was war? He told her bits and pieces. About his home. About the war between humans and the Zilari Empire. About how he was captured after a battle. About how they used him as a test. A joke. A toy. "Like me," she said one night. Ray looked at her. "What do you mean?" "I was not always like this," she said. "I had a name, a family. They took it all." She didn't say who they were. But Ray had a guess. The way she spoke. The way she looked at the guards. She had once been someone important. Maybe not a soldier. Maybe something more. A leader? A royal? One evening, while they ate in silence, she leaned closer. "They fear me," she said. Ray blinked. "What?" "The guards. They fear what I remember. They broke my body, but not all my mind." "Why?" he asked. She looked at him. "Because I know a secret." Before Ray could ask more, the door buzzed. They froze. The lights flickered. Outside, voices shouted. But not normal speech. It sounded like a warning. Like something was wrong. Sarah grabbed his hand. Her eyes were wide. "They're not done," she said. "They gave me to you to be forgotten. But now they want to erase what's left of me." Ray stood, heart racing. "Then we have to escape." She looked at him with fear. "They will kill you." He nodded. "Maybe. But they gave you to the wrong man." In that moment, the broken alien girl was no longer just a gift. She was the key to something big. And Ray was not just a prisoner anymore. He was her only hope. The healing begins. The next morning, Ray woke up before the lights flickered on. He had not slept much. The memory of Sarah's words echoed in his mind. They fear me. They want to erase me. She was still asleep, curled in the corner under the thin blanket. Her breathing was slow but calm. For the first time since she was thrown into his cell, she looked peaceful, but Ray felt anything but peace. He got up and checked the tiny cracks in the wall, the ones he had stared at for weeks trying to mark time. Now he checked them for something new. Movement, signals, any hidden camera. If they were planning to take Sarah away, they would come soon. He had to be ready. Sarah woke up later with a quiet gasp. Her eyes darted around the room, then landed on Ray. She relaxed slightly. They didn't come, she whispered. Not yet, Ray replied. But they will. She touched her side gently and winced. Her shirt had a large rip, and underneath her skin was bruised and swollen. Ray walked over carrying the last of his clean cloth. It had once been part of his shirt. Let me see, he said. She hesitated, then slowly lifted her shirt. The bruise was worse than he expected, deep blue and green across her ribs. He placed the cloth on it gently, dipped in water from their rusted container. They did this? He asked. She nodded. Every time I remembered something, they hurt me. They thought pain would break the memory. But it didn't? No, she said softly. It just made me quiet. They sat in silence for a while. Then Sarah looked at him. Why are you helping me? Ray didn't answer right away. He stared at the gray ceiling above them. Because when they threw you in here, he said, you looked like me, the day they captured me. Later that day, the guards didn't come. That was strange. They usually came at the same time, either to throw food or laugh at him. But today, nothing. The hallway outside was quiet. Too quiet. Sarah was drawing something in the dust with her finger. When Ray looked closer, he saw it was a symbol, like a triangle with two curved lines around it. What's that? He asked. The mark of my house, she said. Before I was taken, I wore it on my shoulder. Were you important? She hesitated. I was the daughter of a prime seeker. That means I knew things about vaults, about power. What kind of power? Technology, old things from before the stars were mapped, hidden machines, things that could change everything. We were sworn to protect them. Ray's eyes narrowed. And the guards? They want that knowledge? They want to find the vault. They want to use it. And you remember where it is? Sarah looked down. I think so. Ray's heart beat faster. This girl wasn't just a victim. She was a living map to something ancient and dangerous. No wonder they feared her. That night, a strange sound echoed through the walls, like a buzz, soft at first, then louder. Sarah jumped up, breathing fast. It's them, she said. I can feel it. They're watching us. Ray grabbed the small metal fork he had hidden under the floor plate. It wasn't much, but it was sharp. Stay behind me, he said. The door didn't open. Not yet. But the light above it started blinking red. Sarah's voice shook. They've activated the memory wipe. They'll flood the room with gas. Ray looked around quickly. He had no mask, no suit, nothing. Then he remembered something. In the corner, under the old broken sink, was a small vent. It was sealed. He had tried to open it weeks ago with no success, but now he had a reason to try again. He ran over and pulled at it, using the fork to pry it open. Sarah, help me. She ran over and pushed with him. The metal groaned. The vent bent. Just a little. More, he yelled. Together they forced it open wide enough for one of them to fit. Go, he said. No, she shook her head. You found it. You go first. I'm not leaving you, Ray said. She hesitated, then crawled in. He followed right behind her. The vent was narrow and dark. The metal scraped his arms. But behind them, the room filled with a strange fog. They made it just in time. After crawling for minutes, they found a small shaft that opened. into another part of the prison, maybe unused. It was dusty, quiet, forgotten. They sat on the floor, breathing hard. Sarah looked at him with wide eyes. "You saved me." "We saved each other," he said. Then suddenly she reached forward and placed her fingers gently on his chest. A glow came from her hand, soft and warm. His wounds, small cuts, bruises, even the old one on his side, began to close. "What are you doing?" he whispered. "Healing," she said. "It's part of what I am. I just forgot how. Until now." Ray stared at her, stunned. For the first time, she smiled. "You helped me remember who I am." And deep inside Ray's mind, something changed too. He was no longer a prisoner. He was becoming a protector, and they were now fugitives together. Secrets of her kind, the place they had crawled into was silent, not dead but old. Walls covered in dust, wires hanging from the ceiling, no cameras, no lights, a forgotten part of the alien prison complex, maybe even abandoned long ago. Ray and Sarah moved slowly through the darkness. Their feet made soft sounds on the broken floor. Every corner could hide danger, but also safety. "What is this place?" Ray whispered. Sarah looked around, her fingers brushing the wall. "A maintenance sector. Not used in many cycles, I think. They don't remember it exists. Then we hide here for now," Ray said. "But we can't stay long. They found a small chamber that once held control systems. Now it was just a dark metal room with a half-working terminal, some broken panels, and scattered alien tools. Ray blocked the doorway with a pipe. If anyone came, they'd hear it fall." They sat down. Sarah's hands were shaking. "Are you all right?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "The fog, the memory gas. If it had touched me, all my thoughts would be gone." Ray frowned. "That's what they used on you before?" "Yes, many times. But some memories are stronger than gas." She closed her eyes. "Do you trust me?" she asked softly. "I do," Ray said without pause. Sarah took a deep breath. Then she opened her eyes and waited. For the first time they glowed faintly. A soft purple light. Her voice changed, deeper, calmer. "Then I will show you the truth." She raised her hand and touched Ray's forehead. In an instant, his mind exploded with images. He saw stars, endless stars, planets burning, fleets moving through space. He saw a young version of Sarah, standing in a hall of light, wearing golden robes. Aliens bowed before her. Her mother, tall and proud, gave her a crystal. "You are the key," the woman said. "The vault must never fall into darkness." Then the vision shifted. Screams. Soldiers in black armor breaking down doors. Burning books. Wiping data. Taking Sarah. They placed machines on her head. Made her forget. Made her believe she was nothing. Until she was thrown into that cold cell and met Ray. He gasped and pulled back. "What was that?" he whispered. "My truth," she said. "Shared with you. Now you know who I was. You were a royal guardian, protector of something called the Vault." She nodded. "The Vault is not a weapon. It is knowledge, secrets from an ancient race long before ours. They left machines that can cure planets, or destroy them. Why? Do the guards want it? They serve the Black Circle, a hidden group. They want power, to rule, not to heal. Ray's hands curled into fists, and they think you can lead them to it. Yes, but they can't use it. Only a seeker, or one touched by a seeker, can open it." She looked at him then, eyes full of strange light. "And now, you've seen the vault too. You are linked." Ray felt a chill down his spine. "They'll come after both of us now," he said. "Yes," she replied. "And they will never stop." Outside the dark chamber, footsteps echoed. Not loud, Not fast. Slow. Searching. Sarah's body tensed. How? Did they find us? Ray asked. She shook her head. They didn't, not yet. But they're close, I feel them. How? My kind. We feel echoes. Energy. They use tracking pulses. But if I focus, I can block it for a short time. She sat still, her fingers forming strange symbols in the air. Purple light flickered from her hands. The air became heavy, like time had slowed. Ray watched in silence, amazed. She whispered, "They won't see us. Not now. But I can't hold it long," he nodded. "Then we need to move." "Where?" "We find a ship," Ray said, "and we get off this station. They control every dock." "Not the graveyard," Sarah whispered. "There's a crashed freighter in the lower levels. Forgotten. I saw it once when they took me for testing. Does it still work? Maybe. If not, we make it work." The lights outside flickered. Footsteps grew louder. Ray grabbed a metal rod. "I'll go first. You follow." They moved like shadows through the tunnels, climbing over pipes, ducking under beams. Behind them, the air cracked, like someone or something was tearing through space. Sarah stopped. "They brought a shade. Hunter," she said, fear in her voice. "What is that?" "A being made from lost minds. It smells memory, and eats it." Ray's heart pounded. "Then we run. Fast." They dashed into the lower tunnels. The air smelled of oil and rot, broken doors. Crushed robots and old blood marked the path. They reached a chamber where a large black shape rested. The crashed freighter. Its side was torn, but the cockpit still glowed faintly. Ray pulled Sarah inside. Panels sparked. Systems flickered. "Can you fly it?" she asked. "I can try," he said, "but you'll have to guide me." Outside, something screeched, a sound not meant for any living creature. Sarah closed the hatch. Ray turned to her. "If we escape this," he said, "you'll tell me everything." "Yes," she said. He powered up the engines. The ship shook, and behind them, the walls shattered. The Shade Hunter had found them, escaped from the Watchers. The crashed freighter groaned like a dying beast as Ray slammed the control panel. Sparks flew from the side wall. The ship's systems were still alive, barely. Flickering lights, damaged wires. But the engine, it had a pulse. Behind them, the walls of the lower tunnel shook again. A scream echoed through the metal, sharp, high-pitched, and not human. Sarah closed her eyes. "It's here." "The Shade Hunter?" Ray asked. She nodded, her hands trembling. "It hunts minds, smells thoughts. If we think too loud, it will know." Ray stopped moving for a second. "Think too loud?" "Yes," she whispered. "Too much fear. Too much memory. It feeds on pain." Outside, metal groaned as the creature moved through the broken halls. Ray had no time to understand it fully. Can it break through this ship? If it wants to, it walks through walls. He gritted his teeth and looked at the ancient control board. The freighter was alien-made but had a standard layout, enough for him to guess. "Hold tight," he said. "If I can get these engines online, we blast out." Sarah placed her hand on the side panel. Purple light flowed from her fingers. "I'll wake the power core," she said. Suddenly, the lights brightened. The ship vibrated harder. The engine coughed, then roared. Outside, the scream turned into a howl. It had felt them. The wall beside the ship dented inward. A black mist began to leak through cracks in the hull. Cold. Pulsing. Alive. Ray grabbed the control stick. "Hang on." The freighter's thrusters kicked. With a blast of blue fire, the ship tore through the metal floor and launched upward, smashing through broken levels of the old station. The mist screamed again. It tried to follow, but the speed of the ship threw it off. Ray and Sarah were slammed back into their seats. Alarms wailed. The ship shot out from the lower levels into a wider section, one that opened into the outer docks. Ray could see light, head, the exit, but just before they reached it, heavy cannons on the dock walls came online. "They know," Sarah said. "The guards activated defense systems. I need you to shut them down." "I can't," she said, panicking. I don't have the key codes anymore. Ray narrowed his eyes. Then I'll fly blind. He jerked the controls to the side. The ship twisted between laser blasts, spinning wildly through the narrow exit tunnel. Fire licked the sides of the freighter. Panels broke off. Warning lights turned red. One bolt slammed into the left wing. The whole ship shook. "We're hit," Sarah shouted. Ray struggled to hold the stick steady. The end of the tunnel was near. One last gate remained. Sealed. "We can't stop now," he said. He aimed the freighter straight at the gate. Sarah's eyes widened. "We'll crash." "Trust me." He pushed the engines to max. Just before the ship slammed into the gate, Sarah raised both hands. Purple energy surged from her, blasting out of the front of the ship like a spear. The gate exploded in pieces. They flew through the fire and into open space. Silence filled the cockpit. Stars surrounded them. Endless black dotted with light. Sarah fell back into her seat, breathing hard. Her skin glowed faintly from the power she had used. Ray leaned forward, staring at the stars. "We made it," he said, but Sarah didn't look happy. "They'll come after us. They always do." "Then we don't give them time," Ray replied. "You said there was a vault?" "Yes. On a hidden moon. Only seekers know the way." "Can you get us there?" "I think so. But they'll follow. They'll send more than hunters now." "Let them," Ray said, his voice cold. "We'll make them regret chasing you." They flew for hours, jumping through small portals and asteroid fields, hiding their signal, resting only when the ship warned of fuel shortage. Sarah showed Ray a series of star map, drawn from her memory. She couldn't read every path perfectly, but her mind remembered enough. Old signs, secret symbols, things passed through her family line. "This map is inside you?" Ray asked. "Yes. It was planted when I was a child. Only if I was in danger would it unlock." "And you were in danger?" "They broke me," she whispered. "But they failed to break the map." Ray stared at her, not as a survivor, but as something more. She was born with knowledge, stolen from her people, and now she was carrying the last piece of a forgotten past. Suddenly, the ship's warning system beeped. "They're tracking us," Sarah said. Ray checked the screen. Red dots appeared behind them. 3 warships, fast and armed. "How did they find us?" he muttered. Sarah closed her eyes. "There's something inside me, a tracker, hidden deep. I didn't feel it before." "We can't outrun them like this," Ray said, "and we can't fight." He looked at her with a strange expression. "Can you cut off your signal? Block it?" "Only with pain," she whispered. "The signal is tied to my spine. Breaking it will hurt." "Do it," Ray said, without emotion. Sarah nodded. She pulled a sharp tool from the console. "Metal. Clean." "Hold me," she said softly. Ray wrapped his arms around her from behind. She drove the tool into her lower back, not deep, but sharp enough to make her cry out. A flash of light burst from her skin. Then, silence. On the screen, the red dots slowed, then turned away. Signal lost. Sarah fell forward, breathing fast. Ray caught her. "You saved us," he said. She looked up, tears in her eyes. "You were the first person who didn't throw me away." He held her close. But in the distance, the stars flickered again. It wasn't over. They had escaped once. But the war for the vault was only beginning. Hunted through the stars. Deep in the silent dark of space, their stolen ship drifted quietly, between shattered moons and broken satellites. The engines hummed low. The stars outside blinked like cold eyes watching every move. Ray sat at the control panel, eyes tired but sharp. Beside him, Sarah rested on a narrow bench, her body still weak from what she had done. The wound on her lower back was sealed, but the pain lingered. Her energy was drained. Her breathing was soft but steady. He kept checking the radar. No red dots, no ships behind them. For now, they were alone. But both knew the silence wouldn't last. "We need fuel," Ray said, breaking the silence. Sierra opened her eyes slowly. There's a refueling station near the dead belt, old, forgotten. We might find help there. Are you sure? She nodded. My people used it once, long ago, before the Empire took it. Then that's where we go, Ray replied. He set a course. As the ship moved, Sarah pulled a small shard of crystal from her belt, one she had hidden even from Ray. It glowed faintly in her hand. What's that? Ray asked. A memory key, she said. It holds the final lock to the vault. Without it, even I can't open the door. And they don't know you have it? No, she said softly. Not yet. The refueling station floated in orbit above a dying gas giant. Its surface was cracked, its lights dim. Half of it looked broken, like it had been in a battle long ago. But the docking arm still worked. As they approached, a voice crackled through the speakers. Identify yourself, Ray replied. We're transport ship 7GX from the outer ring, requesting emergency fuel. A pause. Then a voice said, Docking, Bay 3. No tricks. They landed. Inside, the station smelled like rust and smoke. Broken bots moved slowly along the halls. Flickering signs glowed in strange languages. A tall alien with 4 arms met them at the gate. He looked at Sarah for a long time. You, he said. Sarah froze. I know you, the alien said. Your face was once on a bounty board. Ray stepped in front of her. She's not for sale, the alien chuckled. Relax. I don't trade people anymore. Too much trouble. You want fuel? You pay. We have this, Ray said, showing some old trade chips. The alien checked them, then nodded. Fuel and 1 meal. That's all this buys. They agreed. But as they walked deeper into the station, Sarah leaned close to Ray. Something feels wrong. While the ship was being filled, they sat at a small table in the canteen. It was quiet. A few travelers passed through, none paying much attention, but one man did. He was human, tall, scarred, and dressed in a pilot's jacket. He had a burn mark across his face, and one eye was replaced with metal. He walked straight to Ray and smiled coldly. Never thought I'd see you again, he said. Ray stood slowly. Carr. Sarah looked confused. Friend of yours? She asked. No, Ray said. He sold me out to the Zilari Empire. That's how I ended up in the prison. Carr laughed. Don't take it personal. I was paid well. He looked at Sarah now. His smile widened. And now I see what you found. She's worth more than 100 ships, you know. Leave, Ray said. Or what? Carr asked. You'll shoot me in front of everyone? Ray didn't answer. He just held Sarah's hand and led her away. But he knew Carr wasn't done. They returned to the ship fast. Too fast. We have to leave now, Ray said. He's going to sell us out. Sarah climbed into the ship. She closed the hatch. But it was too late. Outside, the lights of the station turned red. An alarm sounded. Warning, unauthorized ship on pad 3. Lockdown in progress. He already called them, Sarah whispered. They're coming. Ray looked at the screen. 5 ships were closing in fast. Black ships, with the mark of the black circle. We're trapped. Sarah stepped forward. There's only one way. What? We fly through the storm belt, she said. It's a lightning field between 2 dead moons. No ship dares enter. But I know a safe path. How? Because I died there once, she said quietly. They launched just as the station locked. Its claws. The black circle ships opened fire. Ray twisted the controls, sending the freighter into a dive. Lasers sliced past them. One hit the wing, but they kept moving. Where's the storm? Ray shouted. Sarah pointed. There. Ahead, clouds swirled like living things. Red and blue lightning danced across space. Rocks floated in strange orbits. The entrance was narrow. Too narrow for most ships. They'll follow us in, Ray said. They won't make it, Sarah replied. But we might. He pushed the ship into the storm. Immediately, the sky turned mad. Lightning struck nearby. Winds pulled the ship in strange directions. Alarms blared. Sarah closed her eyes and whispered old words in her native tongue. The ship followed the path she saw in her mind. Behind them, 2 black ships entered the storm and were torn apart in seconds. The others stayed back. They were alone again. The storm cleared. In front of them was a quiet region of space. A glowing moon floated in the distance, covered in strange rings of light. Sarah looked at it and whispered, "We're close." Ray nodded. But deep in the ship's system, something blinked, a signal. Someone was still tracking them, and this time, it wasn't from outside. It was coming from inside the ship. The stand for hope. The stars were calm again. The storm behind them had swallowed the enemy ships. Silence now surrounded the small freighter, drifting slowly toward the glowing moon ahead. Its surface shimmered with ancient energy. Strange symbols moved across its rings like writing in the stars. Sarah stared out the window, her fingers trembling. "This is it," she said softly. "This moon guards the path to the vault." Ray nodded. "How do we get in?" "We don't land," she replied. "We speak. The vault listens to the old blood." But Ray wasn't listening anymore. He was staring at the blinking light on the console. "A warning. We have a leak," he muttered. "Where?" "Not a real leak," he said. "A signal, a tracker, but not from you." Sarah's face changed. "What do you mean?" "Someone inside this ship is still sending out a signal." "But they were alone, weren't they?" Ray stood up, moving quickly toward the back of the ship. He checked the cargo hold. Nothing. The vents. Empty. He opened the side panel near the engine and froze. Inside, hidden behind wires, was a small black device, a tracker. But not just a tracker. A beacon. Someone had placed it there after they escaped the prison. And it was active. "No," Ray whispered. "Someone betrayed us." He turned to Sarah. "You're sure you didn't?" "No," she said quickly. "I swear, I didn't know." Before they could speak more, the ship shook. Outside, 3 black dreadnoughts dropped out of hyperspace. Massive, deadly, silent. The black circle had found them again. Sarah's voice cracked. "They brought a Dread Reaper." Ray checked the radar. One of the dreadnoughts wasn't like the others. It moved slowly, but its size. It was larger than a city. Its surface shifted like it was alive. "What is that?" he asked. "Not a ship," she whispered. "A living weapon, made from the minds of 1,000 stolen seekers." The Dread Reaper opened, and light poured out, cold, white, and endless. "Get the ship down," Sarah said. "We must reach the moon. It will protect us." "How?" Ray shouted. "Those ships will tear us apart." "The moon listens to blood," she said. "But only if we speak the true words." She reached into her belt and pulled out the memory. "Keys, the crystal shard." "What do I do?" Ray asked, gripping the control stick. "Fly through the beam, trust me." He didn't question her. He aimed the ship straight into the light of the Dread Reaper. Alarms screamed. Panels sparked. The beam hit. But instead of burning them, it passed through the ship. Searching. Sarah raised the crystal and screamed. In her native tongue, the moon answered. Its rings began to spin. A giant eye opened on its surface. A beam of blue light shot from the moon, striking the Dread Reaper. The beast screamed, a sound like 1,000,000 voices crying at once, but it didn't. It turned and it fired back. The sky became a war. Beams of light crossed space. The moon's shields held, but only barely. "We have to land," Ray shouted. He dove the freighter toward the surface. The ship caught fire from the heat. Metal tore from the sides. They crashed into the moon's surface, skidding across a field of glowing stones. The ship finally stopped, smoking and broken. Ray and Sarah stumbled out, coughing. Above them, the Reaper descended. "We don't have time," Sarah said. "We must get to the heart." "Where is it?" "Follow me." They ran across the glowing field. Behind them, the ground cracked. The Dread Reaper sent down creatures, black, shadowy forms with glowing eyes and long arms. They moved fast. Ray fired his blaster. 3 went down. 5 more came. Sarah reached a giant circle of stone, ancient and cracked. She placed the crystal into the center. The ground opened. A staircase made of light appeared. "Go!" she yelled. They ran inside. Stone closed behind them. They were in the vault. Long halls of silver and gold stretched before them. Machines floated in the air. Memories whispered from the walls. It felt like time had stopped here. This place, Ray breathed, was built by the ancients, Sarah said, to protect life, not destroy it. But behind them, the stone wall, cracked, the Dread Reaper had followed. It tore through the ceiling like paper. "I must activate the vault," Sarah said, "but it needs time." "How much?" "Minutes, maybe less." "I'll buy them," Ray said. He ran to the edge where the wall had broken. The Reaper was there, a tall, twisted shape of dark metal and screaming voices. Ray fired everything he had. The beast roared, then charged. Inside the vault's core, Sarah placed her hand on the final seal. Her voice was strong. Words of her ancestors filled the chamber. Light bloomed from the ground. The machines woke. They turned toward her. "As if waiting, I give my name," she said. "I give my blood. I ask for hope." The vault opened fully. A storm of light exploded outward. Outside, the Reaper reached Ray. But before it could strike, the vault's light hit it. Not with fire, not with pain, but with memory. The Reaper screamed. As the minds inside it remembered who they once were, and one by one, it broke apart. When it was over, the sky was calm again. Ray lay on the ground, burned and bleeding. Sarah ran to him. "You came back," he whispered. "I never left." She touched his chest, and the vault, and now awake, and healed him. As the sky turned blue above them, Ray looked up. "What now?" Sarah held his hand. "Now," she said, "we share the light." But deep in the stars, another eye had opened, and it had seen everything. The girl who saved him. The sky above the moon glowed soft gold. The great storm of the Dread Reaper had passed. Broken ships floated in orbit, some burning, some silent. Down on the surface, wind moved through the glowing stones, quiet and slow. It felt like peace. But peace is never simple. Ray opened his eyes slowly. His chest hurt. His body ached. But he was alive. He turned his head. Sarah sat beside him, her hands still glowing faintly. She had healed him again, not just the wounds, but something deeper, something inside. "You're awake," she said softly. "What happened?" Ray asked. "You stood between me and the Reaper," she replied. "You stopped it long enough." The vault awakened. The light freed the minds trapped. Inside it, "Did we win?" Sarah didn't answer right away. She looked up at the sky, her silver hair moving with the breeze. "For now," she said. They stood together at the heart of the vault. Walls of crystal floated in the air. Machines hummed with ancient voices. Between them, a tall platform pulsed, with soft blue light. "What is it?" Ray asked. Sarah stepped closer. "This is the gift, or the curse. It depends on who takes it." "What does it do?" "The vault holds all that was lost, cures, knowledge, life. It can heal dying worlds, even Earth." Ray stared at her. "You mean, I could take this to my people?" "Yes," she said. "But there's a cost." "What kind?" Sarah looked down. "The vault only opens fully to one who stays. Someone must remain to guide it, to keep the balance, to guard it from those who would use it for destruction." He understood. "You mean, you can't leave?" "No," she said, "but you can." Ray stepped forward. "I won't go without you." "You must," she said. "You carry my mark now. The vault has seen you. You are part of its memory. We can find another way." he said. There is no other way, she replied, tears in her eyes. But you've suffered enough, Ray whispered. You've lost your home, your family, your mind. You were treated like trash. You were broken. Sarah smiled softly. But you didn't treat me like that. You saw me. You helped me heal. And now I am whole. Because of you. The vault spoke, not with words, but with feeling. It opened a path, a glowing bridge that led into the stars. At the end, a small ship waited. Fast, clean, fully charged, meant for one. Sarah walked Ray to the edge of the bridge. This ship will take you to Earth, she said. It will follow your thoughts, and it will carry part of the vault's light. Will I see you again? He asked. Yes, she said. Every time someone is saved, every time a child heals, every time a world grows green again, that will be me. Part of me will go with you. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something. Small, a chain with a metal tag. What's that? She asked. Dog tag, Ray said. From my time as a soldier. This is my name. My home. He placed it in her hand. Now you carry me too. He turned slowly, stepping onto the bridge. Each step felt heavy, but the ship waited, and hope waited with it. He turned back one last time. Sarah stood at the edge, the wind in her hair, glowing light behind her. Once, she had been broken. Now she was a guardian of the stars. And as the ship rose into the sky, carrying Ray away, she whispered, You saved me first. Weeks passed, then months. The small ship flew quietly through the deep dark. It moved through war zones, storms, and silence, untouched. The vault protected it. Ray landed on Earth. But it was not the Earth he remembered. Cities were cracked, skies gray. Sickness spread fast. People had lost hope. But when Ray stepped onto the surface carrying the gift of the vault, everything began to change. He shared the cure. He told the story of a broken alien girl who had become the only hope for two worlds. Far away, on the quiet moon, Sarah stood before the vault, alone, but not lonely. The stars above her began to shift. New signals blinked in the dark. Then, something strange. A shadow moved near the edge of the system, a signal she had never seen before. Not black circle, not human, different, ancient. She placed her hand on the vault. We're not done yet, are we? She said softly. The light pulsed, once in answer, and somewhere beyond the stars. Something watched her, waiting, hunting. But this time she would be ready, and thus ended the story of the girl they gave away for fun, who became the only hope for all.